My name's Phil Strong, and I'm delighted to be bringing you this short devotional series, 7 sessions, to help you to stay strong in 2022. These 7 videos with devotion guides that go with them are really to help you to walk well with God, to stay strong in 2022, to lift yourself into a new place with Him, perhaps establish some disciplines that you may have forgotten or never found, and my goal is to be your guide in that. This is the 4th message in a series, and today is all about contributing to your community. Contributing to your community. When I say community, what do I mean by that? Let's put some context into this. Well, firstly, you could call your community your family, your whanau, your group that is your close members that you do life with. So the closest sphere of influence that you have. How do you contribute to that? How do you give and serve and receive and love and enjoy life together? Well, maybe you think a bit wider. You know, I talk about church as family. Here at Zion, we talk about the Zion family, and we've got people that are different spaces and places in that. But the reason I use that language is because actually, in a family context, you can think, well, it's much wider than just the metron or the sphere of my own home, or those that are blood relatives. Family's far greater than that. And Abraham and his sons and then Isaac's son Jacob, and Jacob had the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, they're all family. But by the time you get to the tribe of Dan and you get to some of the descendants of Dan, well, they're no longer, living in the same home as the grandson of Judah, but they're still family. So you've got this wider context of community. But I also like to think that we would think of community as the place we're called to live. Jeremiah, when he was exiled into Babylon, he was told by God, pray for the city that I have planted you in, that it would go well, because if it prospers, you prosper. So we've got to think not just about ourselves and our family. That's actually selfish. We've got to think wider than that. Think about the community and contributing to the community that you're part of, the fabric that God has grafted you into and woven you into. Finally, think about serving the greater context, the town, the city, the region that God has planted you in. For He has truly called you here, that you would be a contributing member of society for the betterment of society. And that's really what this session is about. Look, if I had $1 for every time someone said to me, I just don't feel connected, I just don't feel plugged in. Well, here's the phrase for you. The way for you to feel connected is for you to choose to serve the very thing you want to be connected to. And look, marriage is a classic example. If you want to feel loved by your wife, start loving your wife. Start serving, start honoring, start giving into. If you don't feel related to your kids, if they're in that stage of life where they're just kicking you out, you could just serve them, love them, and the very thing you choose to serve will be the thing that you feel connected to. The honest truth is what you focus on is what you move toward. So here, grab the devotion guide and think about, what do I want to be connected to? Where has God asked me to be connected to? Well, God's definitely asked you to connect and serve your family because He chose you to be born into it. He chose your children to be raised into it, your wider family. But maybe God's called you to be part of a church, a local community. And He's saying, come on. Serve, contribute to your community, help it to be better, help it to move along in its purpose and function in order that it will be richer because of your contribution. I think it's really important that at the beginning of the year we each stop and ask God, who have you called me to serve? Where can I contribute? And it's better to get God's leading on that than for you to do it, because your leading is usually filtered by your feelings and your memories and your emotions, and that's really not always helpful. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. So ask God, where have you called me to contribute? What is the community you've called me to serve? And when you focus on that, God will truly lead you and you'll find fulfillment. So grab the devotion guide, follow the questions, maybe the prayer guide that we'll put in there for you. And I think it's really good to do this with someone else, because when you're submitted to someone else in accountability, you'll find much more progress. So once again, my name's Phil Strong and I'm glad you're joining us on this devotional journey. I really want to challenge you to take time out, maybe take a bit longer time to do the devotional guide for this one. And really excited about what is the fruit that's coming for you as a result of that. So this is number 4 in a series called Stay Strong in 2022. I'll see you in session number 5. Watch out for it soon.